This week we have one of my most fun episodes of the year. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl ads, and not only the fun parts, but also some sales lessons and marketing lessons that you can pull from the Super Bowl ads. And they have some of the top people creating these advertisements. So let's just use their experience and figure out how to sell our courses. So let's get to it.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here is your host, Julie Hood.
Hey, welcome. Oh, such a fun episode. I love doing these episodes every year, and I hope you find them an interesting and exciting way to maybe learn a new marketing lesson or two. We are actually in episode 180, so you can go to coursecreatorshq.com/180 to grab all of these lessons. And I actually am changing it up this year. We're not just getting secrets from the commercials. I've got some secrets just from the players and the teams and the whole experience, actually. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I did putting it together. So first off, though, I have to share my top three just because these were the three commercials that I thought were the most fun and they made me laugh. So the State Farm commercial with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he couldn't say neighbor and he kept saying neighbor. That one made me laugh. And then because I love Suits, I was watching the Elf commercial and had all my Suits characters and cast members on there. So I thought that one was great. And then the Pluto TV growing couch potatoes, it just made me laugh pretty hard. So those were my favorites, not because of the secrets that they shared, but just because they were so funny and entertaining. And I always ask my son, which commercial was his favorite, because he's a copywriter for an advertising agency. So I figure he probably has some inside scoop on which ones are the best. And he actually thought there were way too many celebrities this year. But he did mention that Arnold's commercial won the USA Today ad meter, which I didn't even realize they had that. So I will put the link in the show notes for you if you want to go see which ones actually won the ad meter from USA Today. So that will be there. I also put together for you, this will be in the links too while we're talking about it, a playlist for you. This is the 4th episode that we've done about the Super Bowl. So if you want to go back and catch some of the previous ones, they're all in a playlist on YouTube. I wish I could do it on Apple Podcasts, but they don't let you create playlists. So it's over on YouTube. Click the link. It'll ask you to subscribe, and then you can click playlists to find the Super Bowl playlist. So it's kind of fun to go back and see what some of the secrets were from prior years. So I hope you enjoy that. Okay, so let's get to it. Secret number 1 is to build your community. Build your community. And the Chiefs did this incredibly well. They have their Chiefs Kingdom, which is what they call their fans. And they have their own special question, which is, how about those Chiefs? And Travis Kelce was talking about how it's a big party. And there's the whole storyline of Travis and Taylor and them dating. So they've built this whole community and mystique around being a Chiefs fan. So is there some way that you can also do that with your audience, with your community? Can you build that relationship between your students and between the folks that you are working with? Telling some stories, having a common name, all those kinds of things. And then secret number 2 is figuring out where your students are hanging out. And there were some companies that did this really, really well, I thought, during the Super Bowl. So there was at least one commercial specifically about college football next year. So they knew they had football fans. They're going to talk about what's going to be happening next year for college football. There was FanDuel, football betting. Obviously, they had their audience right there. And then YouTube TV did a commercial for NFL Sunday Ticket. So all about knowing where your audience is going to be and then reaching them right there and partnering in the places where they are going to be. I also thought it was very interesting that Nickelodeon was doing a kid-focused simulcast of the Super Bowl. So I was surprised, honestly, to see that, because typically the Super Bowl, especially in the past, some of the Super Bowl shows have not been kid-friendly. So I was curious what was going on. I checked out Wikipedia, and apparently Nickelodeon has been sponsoring it since 2004. They've done different things through the years. So I thought that was an interesting way to give the kids a place where they could be part of the Super Bowl too. And then did you notice that there were a lot more products this year specifically targeting women, because the advertisers have recognized that females are now a big part of the football audience. So there was medicine for hot flashes, women in sports, the Elf Beauty. There were several of them specifically targeting women. So figure out where your students are hanging out and make sure that you're putting messaging in front of them in those same places. That's secret number 2. Secret number 3 is to be in it for the long haul, no matter what. So I got inspired by the coaches from this. Andy Reid said that he had actually coached 21 years before he won a Super Bowl. That's a long time to not be succeeding. And obviously he was still doing really well, but still 21 years. And then Brock Purdy, the quarterback for the 49ers, he was the very last pick of the football draft in 2022. There were 8 other quarterbacks picked in front of him, and look at that. He's in the Super Bowl. And I thought, for being a young guy and brand new, he did an incredible job in the game last night. So hanging in there. The other thing was, it's been 29 years since the 49ers were up for a Super Bowl title. So as we are building our businesses, and I know a lot of times you want this instantaneous success, sometimes it just takes a while and you have to hang in there for all of that. Secret number 4 is don't ignore AI. AI was actually a pretty big theme this year, with at least 6 commercials talking about it. Discover was playing off how you can always get a live human for support and not a robot. There was another one that I'm pretty sure had AI generated photos. And the Google Pixel AI phone had a really touching story from a man with low vision and how the AI was helping him still take photos. And then if you haven't seen it yet, I would definitely check out the Microsoft Copilot commercial, because it had a whole motivational section about they say this, but I say this. And the song was really good with it. Just watch me now. So definitely there was an overall AI message here. And it was interesting to see people have both takes on it, both the good and the bad. So I thought that was interesting. But still, because it was a relevant topic right now, it made the Super Bowl too. Secret number 5, and this one has probably been in every episode where we've talked about the Super Bowl, and that's talk about things that are free. And I think the ones that did this best was Pluto TV, when they were talking about on their farm they grow couch potatoes because the US has been grown on TV that was free because Pluto TV is actually free. So I thought that was an interesting take on the free side of things. There were also several different sections, both commercials and some of the different things that were mentioned, where they had the QR codes so you could connect in and get to something. So using the QR codes to get to the free content. One thing that I didn't think worked very well, DoorDash had some kind of opportunity to win the gifts that were mentioned during to win the things that were in the commercials, but I couldn't keep track of their link. It was mentioned not enough to be memorable, but so much I got confused. So I didn't even have the link. So I thought that was kind of a fail. Make sure your link is easily remembered when you're talking about it so that people can get back to your content afterwards. So talk about what's free and make sure you're using an easy to remember link. And then secret number 6 is to use events to be the centerpiece of your launch and whatever it is that you're announcing. So I had 4 different examples for this one. The first one, obviously CBS as the host of the Super Bowl, they were using it to their full advantage to announce a lot of the things that they have going on, and they tied it in with the premiere week of all their TV shows. So this week is going to be premiere week, so they could be talking about it during all the commercials, all the new shows that were premiering. So it tied in really, really well. And then they announced a ton of new movies that are coming out on Paramount. They were pre-selling their golf coverage and their new shows. So it reminded me of how course creators pre-sell. Same sort of thing they were doing during their commercials. So CBS, that was the first example. Second example, homes.com. Oh my goodness. I'll also put the link in here and just in case you're just curious. They are doing a huge campaign. They had celebrities. They did a good job there. Their tagline is "We've done your homework." So for buying new homes, which I thought that was pretty good. But they're doing this huge campaign. So they had lots of commercials during the Super Bowl, and they were different commercials. They weren't repeating the same ones. So this was a centerpiece of the big launch that they were doing. And then Reese's had been pre-selling previous commercials saying, we're making a big change to Reese's, we're making a big change. And then they finally announced it during their commercial, which was that they're adding a new caramel topping. But thankfully, they're keeping the regular Reese's too. So as much as they were trying to scare everyone that they were going to be changed, it's just a new product. So I thought that was an interesting way to sort of, I'm not sure how I feel about that one because it felt a little bit like I was being tricked. So I think you have to be careful with those when you're, that gets a little too close to misleading your audience for me. And then number 4 of our examples of using the events, I thought Pizza Hut actually did an incredible job of the timing of their commercials because they were all in the pre-show. So the NFL Today before the Super Bowl, which was a good idea because people were trying to get their food together and figuring out what they were serving. And so they had the logo on the desk of the pregame show. Plus, every other commercial was about their new hot honey pizza and wings that you could get from Pizza Hut. And so the timing was really good as people were trying to figure out what their food was going to be for their Super Bowl party. Go order Pizza Hut. So I thought that was a really smart way to do it. Plus, I'm sure the commercials were cheaper as part of the pregame show than the getting them during the Super Bowl. So that was secret number 6, to really plan out your whole launch and experience around events. And then secret number 7, I'll end with this one, was to have a theme. And so they were really playing up the whole Las Vegas theme, and they had a lot of these dark and glitzy kind of sets that they were using, so you felt like you were in Vegas. The pregame show was at the Bellagio, and they even did a whole section at the beginning about Sinatra because he had his show there for so long, and how they had him singing in the background with "I Did It My Way." And so that whole theme I thought really worked well with where they were hosting the Super Bowl and just made it all kind of come together. So you can do something similar where you have a theme around your fonts, around your colors, around maybe how you're recording your video, your sets, that kind of thing. How can you have a cohesiveness there that pulls people into what it is you're doing? So have that theme. So I'll recap these real quick because they were so much fun. I hope you enjoyed this and maybe got an idea or two that you can use. Secret number 1 is to build your community like the Chiefs did. Secret number 2, figure out where your students are hanging out and get in front of them. Secret number 3 was to be in it for the long haul, no matter what, no matter how many years. Secret number 4 was to don't ignore AI. Secret number 5, to talk about what's free and make it easy. Secret number 6 is to use events to be the centerpiece of your launch and your announcements. And then secret number 7 was to have a theme that you use consistently across your launch and across your business. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you had as much fun with this episode as I did pulling it together and pulling out some ideas for you. I appreciate you. I'm so glad you are here for the Course Creators HQ podcast. If you want to go check out our YouTube playlist for prior episodes, all of the episodes are out there now, including now there's a playlist for the Super Bowl. So use that link, coursecreatorshq.com/YouTube podcast. And thanks for being here. Have an incredible week, and we will catch you next week on the new episode. Take care.